Welcome back, everyone, to the Bat Cave. This is your host, Hunter Ferget, alongside my co-host, Cody Cross and Cody Caswell. That's not the name of the new show here, but it's the best we could come up with now. But feels good to be here with you guys. This is the first of many.
How
Cheers
good does it
to
feel?
that.
Where does it
Feels
feel
good, man.
It does feel good. After a long week, it's Friday, which is our Monday. Every day's, Cody said earlier, what'd you say in the group chat? Said it's Friday, and I was like, man, every day's Monday when you're a real estate investor like us three.
True.
Every day is Monday. Whenever it's not.
Every day is a new day. Every day is Monday, just like that.
We'll probably title this podcast once we come up with some cool name or something to do with real estate. That'll probably be our primary focus a lot of times because that's majority of what all three of us do, some sort of investing, construction, rent houses, all kinds of stuff. And congrats to y'all two. Closed on a deal today. We won't get into the specifics, but good job, fellas.
Thank you, sir.
When do you close on yours? Next
We
week?
close Monday.
Monday?
It has got pushed back,
yeah.
and I'm getting scared. I'm like, you
Yeah,
always
you
hope
should
that
get
like
scared.
a car wreck doesn't come and
You
like
should've
kills
seen-
your client or
You
something.
should have
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
Cody for the past month, dude. Just
Dude,
absolutely on
I hate when,
edge.
because I know how much people back out on stuff, and I can just see it coming, and it's like, it
Once
bothers
all
me.
that financing contingencies and inspections and appraisals are all done,
Yeah,
it's
until
pretty
you
much
do,
set in
until you
stone.
go through the final walkthrough, and the day before closing, they call you, and they say they want to change their entire lending program.
Yes.
They want to extend another 30 days, a day before closing.
Yeah.
That's what happened to y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
we
Yeah,
said,
that's why I
no,
freak out.
we're not doing that. Hey,
That's-
before anything, let's just differentiate between me and Cody. He's going to be Cross. I'm going to be Cody.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So that
was
people
part
know the
that got
difference
pretty
between us
confusing.
two.
Yeah,
Cross
the
and
difference is
Cody.
I'm better looking, so.
And you have the
Alright,
deep
with that.
voice.
And
I mean,
that.
I think that's pure opinion, but
Because I could definitely see it.
it's
from
my
the
opinion
podcast.
too, though.
Oh, that was.
Man, it was a fun little hiccup in the plans. Just literally, the day before we're supposed to close, we get a text from the buyer's agent. This is from the buyer. Hey, would you be willing to extend another 30 days to change our loan to the new home buyer program where we get $6,000 free off the top? And we said, first of all, it's not going to be 30 days. It's going to be 60 days. It's a fact.
Yeah.
And then secondly, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, our
so-
realtor's badass.
Yeah.
The way she worded it was great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a no nonsense, absolute no from her, which made it really awesome because it got the deal closed. Without that, I mean.
So she
there's-
denied them that program, told them y'all had to close on it, or y'all still went through with it?
Yeah,
Doing the
told them that we already had plans to close. Like we had already had all our ducks in a row. We did everything that they asked of us.
But what I was going to ask was the first home inspection y'all had on a new construction, man, was y'all FHA or no?
Yep.
If it's right.
Yep. I'm sure they found a million things wrong with the property.
Well,
They
Or a
did.
laundry
no, they
list
did.
at
It was
least.
ridiculous.
They
It was
did on a
ridiculous.
new
And it was probably the
construction.
most simple, stupid thing.
It was
some
ridiculous.
of them.
It was some
Oh,
stupid.
yeah.
It was some stupid thing. But in the long run, it kind of helps us out in case somebody does like want to renew their home warranty. You know,
Mhm.
Right.
so that it kind of does, solidify that we're most likely not gonna have those problems. But it was still like a lot of stuff. Like there's so much stuff.
And most of it was one day fixes. We went over there for one day and everything got fixed. It was like just go in there,
It's just
couple hours, and you
monotonous,
could bust some
dumb stuff.
dumb little stuff out, and it's done. I mean, but it
What
was
was
also
the
new construction.
stupidest thing they found wrong?
Oh,
Put you on the spot. Like the most simple thing.
I'm trying
Okay.
to
Wasn't
think
there
about it.
something
This
with the
was-
refrigerator?
We
Like
didn't have.
refrigerator door or something ridiculous? you
No,
told me?
it wasn't
That must have been
No.
someone else.
I don't
We had
remember.
this a receptacle wall plate. So the plate over the receptacle was where they cut the sheetrock around the box. It was a little bit kicked to the side, and it had like a smidge of like space showing into
Oh
the
my
box.
goodness.
And he took a picture of it, and he said that it was exposed electrical. So
Those guys get their $400 worth.
Yes, they
I
do.
tell
They
you.
do.
Well, think about it. So like,
Yeah.
but think about it like this: like if you're an inspector and something happens,
Yeah.
and you signed off on an inspection, whose liability is that?
Right.
You know, so it's like passing liability. So I guess that's why inspectors suck.
We were fortunate we didn't have to deal with an FHA. I'm sure they would have found something, but all they found was a small leak under the sink, so we were good there. One time, last flip we done, they found a piece of flashing, like a drip edge that slides under the roof. That was it. But one time was the worst of all. We didn't have, it was FHA. We didn't have the house high enough off the ground. We had to go in, lift the entire
It
house
lit the
up.
whole house. The whole
Yeah,
house.
digging out the piers and adding a block up under just for a
We've-
couple inches.
We've seen
May have
that
been 6
before.
inches. What a nightmare.
Yeah, my dad.
No, if I had some forklifts or something, it would have been nice. Have you ever
Dude.
seen guys level a house with forklifts and railroad ties?
I've never seen that.
Dude, impressive. They'll slide like a 40-foot railroad tie across a house or however wide the house is. Slide them. Each side, they'll go with a forklift and pick up the entire house.
What?
Yeah, pick up
Dude.
the entire freaking house. Insane.
So next road over from my house that I just bought and we're remodeling right now, they just raised up a house on like railroad ties like that. I
Yeah.
mean, they had to go like 4 or 5 feet up. It's insane how far they went up. But the crazy part is it's a 3,000 square foot house, and they did that too. You know how big this house is, and they did that too. I was
the
doing my
power
morning
of
jog.
leverage.
Yeah, I was doing my miracle morning jog, and it was like 6. It was like 6:15.
Wait.
Miracle morning jog?
No,
I know Al
no,
Elrod.
no.
Is it
I
Al
told you-
Elrod?
I told you to read that book. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you read the book?
No, I haven't read it, but I've heard good things about
Dude,
it.
it
You had to have
changes
got
your
that off the
life.
Bigger Pockets podcast, right?
Yeah, I've got.
They've
a
had
few
him on the
places,
show, I'm
but
pretty sure.
I never heard them with. I mean,
Yeah.
they probably do, but I never
mean,
heard
you've
that
listened to every
episode.
episode.
I just like
but
how you worded
so many
it.
damn
I just like that it's
Miracle
kind of
Morning- Hey, it
the
is.
Miracle
Well, I
Morning
wanted, it, well, I
podcast.
wanted it to become a topic that we talked about.
I have
so that's
took
why I brought it up.
I have took practices out of the book, like wake up, say things you're grateful for. That's out of that book.
Dude,
right?
Affirmations,
that,
right?
that,
Yeah,
is,
your
that, is,
affirmations.
that is the ticket, bro.
Yeah.
When
Dude,
you wake
it is.
up and you just reel off everything you possibly think of. I'm grateful that I'm alive right now. I'm grateful that
I like
I'm in
how
air
Cross
conditioning.
always breaks things down simple. He'll make me feel so dumb sometimes. He'll be like, bro, you drove here in a truck from your house. And it's like, damn, dude, make me feel bad.
Dude, on a real note, have
Make
y'all
me
read?
feel bad, but make me feel so good at the same time.
Where did that come from, though? Where did that stem from? I was trying to agree with you.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
mean
you
to
broke
sound
it
simple.
down.
I was just
Affirmations,
trying
the
to-
morning
Yeah.
affirmations.
The affirmations, like it's literally like you're just being aware that you're alive and you're happy, or maybe you're not even happy. Maybe you're just like aware that you're alive and you're grateful for it.
And you're doing
Y'all-
well.
And you're doing well.
Y'all haven't read the book? It is.
I haven't. I'm going to go read it.
It's a
I'm gonna go
real
read
game
it.
changer. I'm telling you, because me and Cody have been like talking probably since January when we started that flip. We've been talking about how we both wanted to become morning people. We just like weren't. You
Yeah,
just
yeah,
can't.
for
You
sure.
just can't wake up. Like we just can't be morning people.
See, the
That
problem
book
I have
changed
with
my
it
life.
is I go to bed at like freaking 3 o'clock every night. That's my problem. I still get up no matter what at the same time, but I don't have enough time in the morning to get like a good routine in.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad because I hear so many entrepreneurs preach that that's like one of the number one things, a good morning routine, all this, all that.
Well, then that's
and I
also
wish I could
kinda like-
implement it, but
Well, it's
sadly.
not. Well, the thing the Miracle Morning preaches. Sorry to cut you off, but just a second. The thing the Miracle Morning preaches is like, it's not about necessarily when you wake up. It does help waking up early, but even if you wake up at 10 o'clock, 'cause I mean, some people work night shifts, some people work different things. It's about when you wake up. It's about doing that same routine no matter what time you wake up. That's the game changing part about it. It's not
Okay.
necessarily about when you wake up, because everybody has a different life. Like, I mean, somebody might. Work a job where they have to work till 2, 3 a.m. every night, and you're simply not going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You're not going to do it. So, but it's about if you wake up at 8, 10, 12 o'clock, whenever you wake up, it's about doing
Still
that
get it
same
done.
routine that you do.
So what's your
That's the
routine
Miracle
look like?
Morning. Wake up at 5:45, and I wake up, I immediately go and I drink water, because it's proven by scientists that the brain in the morning substitutes tiredness for dehydration. So you're not actually tired when you wake up in the morning. Your body's dehydrated. You haven't drank all night. So that's the problem. So the number one thing was set your alarm where it's not near you. You have to get up to go turn your alarm off. Get up, turn your alarm off. Have a bottle of water or a glass of water or something sitting on the sink in the bathroom. Go in there and immediately drink 10 to 12 ounces of water. Just chug. And that's where it
yeah, I've heard
rehydrates
the
your
chugging
brain.
the water thing in the morning. I
Right.
never knew what the purpose of it was, but it makes sense.
It rehydrates your brain. That's scientists have proven that they substitute, your brain substitutes tiredness for hydration. Dehydration. So immediately go drink about 10 to 12 ounces of water. I throw my workout clothes on and I go outside and I turn on an audiobook. Right now it's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yep, very good
And-
book. That's on the bookshelf. I have about 6 true winners that sit on the bookshelf at all times. That's
Dude,
one
there's
of.
so many, man.
Yeah.
The crazy thing
4 Hour
I've learned
Work
about,
Week,
like,
Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What's the one you got, Frank? Damn,
Hey, you
what
want
is
to hear
it?
a
Man,
crazy
so
rumor I
good.
heard about Robert Kiyosaki? I heard before he wrote that book, he was only making like
Broke as
40
a
grand a
joke.
year.
Well,
Yeah, he was a Xerox salesman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a Xerox salesman.
mindset.
Yeah.
Dude, so like what I've learned about the information sales business, okay? So think about Grant Cardone, right? And I read this in an article. I don't know if this is true. That's the disclaimer. I don't know how true this is. But whenever he started to really, really make it, whenever he started to make a lot of money, he was teaching people how to sell their information products better. So think about that. Think about how the deep
Teaching
trough
information.
of that. You're teaching
Selling information
someone.
about how to sell information.
Yes. So he was like at the top of that pyramid, right? The tip
Yeah.
top. He created
Yeah.
the pyramid on that. That's how he did it. That's how he became who he is. And if you listen to his speeches, dude, the book Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson, the one I showed you.
I read that.
If you
That
read
is
that,
that's
the
another
second
game
time I
changer.
read it, it was like even more like
Yeah, I gotta
even more.
reread it. I haven't
Dude,
reread it, but
he
check it out.
he
Need to
emphasizes
jot
how
little notes down while we're
important
sitting here.
dude, I have a
how
whole
how
books-
important it is to tell good stories, and how a story changes anyone's belief. Not anyone's belief, but it helps enhance the effectiveness of what you're trying to do.
It does.
Like if I tell Cody that I got in a wreck today, if I said, Cody, I wrecked my truck today, but that's all I said, or if I said,
I'm gonna say that sucks.
dude,
That's about it.
I ran a red light, and this jogger jogged out in front of me, and I was on my phone, and I could feel the sweat running down my neck from how hot it was whenever I went jogging from an hour ago. My feet's hurt. I couldn't press the brake pedal soon enough. And then right before I realized that somebody ran out in front of me and I killed him. I killed him and I drove away. And then I came here. See what I
That's a
mean?
lot,
It's
yeah.
the same story.
It is.
It's just told differently.
I
And
have
that-
like a
Dude, that's what like Grant Cardone, people like that, they rah everything. Hard work, dedication, be an entrepreneur, be this, be that. And dude, I could go off for probably 3 hours on this, but it's fascinating.
that's like the new life trend too. The new life trend is bootstrap entrepreneurship. That's like the new thing that everybody is preaching. Especially like if you have a social media that follows real estate or entrepreneurship or stock trading, day trading, anything in the realm of, do it yourself, you're just going to get flooded with Facebook ads of quit your day job and do this side hustle and make it your main hustle. That's like what everybody's preaching right now. I have
Facebook creeps me out, man.
Dude, Facebook.
dude, it's weird.
Facebook is insane. Whenever I went and got trained for the digital marketing stuff in Milwaukee,
Mm-hmm.
just from what he showed me about just from what he showed me, what's available on Facebook ads is unbelievable.
That's like that. We ran a freaking just a test ad the other day when we launched the Facebook page finally for the construction company. I was telling Cross about it.
I saw it.
A $10 ad on the house leveling resulted in like $10,000 worth of bids off a
That is
$10
insane.
ad. We had guys calling us, was like, "We're looking. Yeah, how'd
What's
you
the
hear about us?
percentage of
Oh
that?
man, your
10,000%?
Facebook ad ran across our page.
about-
We're searching for contractors for flooring in particular, and it ran across our page.
That's 1,000%. The return on your money. That's
Yeah.
1,000%. That's 1,000% return on your
That's
money.
1,000%.
That is insane.
So that's
Yeah,
10,000.
thank you,
That's
Facebook.
10,000. That's
1,000
10,000%.
times 10 is 10,000. He's at $10,000 for the bids.
10
1,000
well,
times
10
is
10 times 1,000. Okay, yeah, right.
That's
right.
1,000%. Yeah.
I was about to say holy shit, but
It's a
yeah,
shitload
that's
of
kind of
people.
ridiculous.
I have a
Hey,
books.
but dude, it really is like that.
And
And
you've
that
had
was
success
just you
running
just
Facebook
boosted
ads
it.
off of.
You just
for
boosted an
apparel.
ad.
I've done my
Yeah.
rentals too.
That's all you did. Like whenever we were doing this thing with the app that I was working with for a while, dude, we were running. I was running these programs that I developed, testing all kind of different markets with different creative and different whatever,
Different audiences and
different
stuff.
audiences
Yeah.
and the Facebook Pixel. Dude, there's so much. Like you could literally
All I done
spend an
because
hour
I have
talking
a
about this
very
kind of stuff.
basic knowledgement on it. I went in, whatever, took some of the stuff you had told me, but I put it only to men. No, I did men and women, certain age, whatever. An interest column, I did Lake Charles, 25-mile radius, whatever. Interest column, all I put was HGTV, DIYers, and that was about it.
Fixer upper.
Yeah, fixer upper shows, whatever,
Spend
and it
$10.
freaking threw that
Yeah,
$10 through
that's
that amount of
lucky.
ads.
That's
Yeah.
honestly lucky, but
Yeah.
it just
I plan on
it just
using
shows
more,
what's
but
possible.
we're so backed
dude.
up now, I can't even freaking run an ad. We got to hire people like ASAP. Frank knows he's in there, but it's getting intense.
Oh, you're about to run into. Everybody wants good construction people right now in this
Yes.
area. Everyone wants good construction people.
Well, what they
Including
want
me.
is I found the niche in smaller jobs. People are like, man, like it was a roof repair the other day. We made $750 in like an hour. I was like, you can't beat that. And they were like, yeah, the guy didn't even want to do it because it was such a small job. He wanted to replace the whole roof. I was like, it's a freaking 20-foot area that's barely even messed up. We could easily patch this. It'll be perfect. And they're like, yeah, they want to replace the whole roof. I was like, well,
Good
okay,
Lord.
we'll do it and make freaking $350 for 1 hour each. Cool. We'll do it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's that smaller jobs. People don't want to do smaller jobs. They all want to be huge and do $20,000+ rehabs instead of pick apart these small little jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a base the niche off that for now. while we do the remodels and the other big stuff on the side.
Yeah, but I
That's
say
smart.
until you figure out why people don't go fuck with the small stuff.
There's gonna be a reason.
Well, yeah. But when
But
you're
if you
sending
go through that
guys,
hustle-
Until you
when
find
we're
that
sending
reason.
guys, handymen, $15-20 an hour guys to go do it, and we're
Yep.
charging $700 for an hour.
It
Yeah,
works.
unskilled labor to go do thing here and there,
Yeah.
just nothing. I have a books like page and like notes and note in my notes app. I need to just like share with y'all, and that way all three of us can just like add books in there. That list is gonna get 10,000 books long.
I've,
Yeah,
I've
you know,
read probably like 50 books.
Warren
so it's not
Buffett
this
said he
thing.
reads 5 to 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
The average CEO reads 60 plus books a year. That's what I read yesterday.
I'm
in
trying to
Forbes.
read one a week.
That's still
It's
not that
it's-
many, though, if you think about it. 360 days.
Well, I mean, if you're a CEO, I can't imagine you have that much time to read books in the first place. But
Yeah.
like the fact that you're making time to read 60 plus and you're CEO of a Fortune 5, that was CEOs of Fortune 500 companies.
Mm-hmm.
The average of Fortune, there's only 500 of those. The average of those reads 60 plus books a year. The fact that those CEOs,
That's a little over a book a week.
yeah, and the fact that those CEOs make that much time to read, and I mean, with everything they have on their plate, like, dude, there's no excuse. you
Look,
know?
me and Cody have talked, or Cross have talked about this before, I'm pretty sure. But do you find it easy to like incrementally break stuff down? Like you say, 60 books a week. Boom, I instantly think that's, or 60 books a year. That's one book a week. One book, 300 pages, that's 50 pages a day. Make
yeah.
it just simpler and simpler and simpler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm
And
totally,
then boom,
I'm
super,
totally
super,
like a,
super
You
easy.
just make it real.
Space it out,
You
yeah.
just make, dude. Tony
It's like
Robbins.
60 books, that's so much. Then you're like, oh, that's one a week.
It's 1 a week.
50 pages a
One
day.
every
that
7
even
days?
sounds hard. One a
Yeah.
week sounds
And
hard.
you have
and then
an
you're not gonna
average
do
of
it. Then you're not gonna
16 hours a day. Realistically, you have 16 hours, but you have energy levels for maybe 12. You know, like realistically.
Yeah.
So if
Oh,
you
man,
read
dude,
50
I go
pages,
hard at work for 12 hours.
That's what I'm
just
saying.
at
But
work.
like, but if you're awake for 16, you're most likely not going to spend all 16 working.
I mean, you're
like,
eating,
I saw an interview of
yeah.
Gary Vaynerchuk when they were like, "How many hours did you work whenever you were 20s?" He was like, "All of them," and I was like, "Bullshit."
I don't know, man. Gary Vee, he's on another level.
No,
He's an
he-
alien. Come on now.
Okay,
No,
but
but
anyway,
he's like a all of them. Like
Yeah.
no, dude.
No,
Like,
he
come
is
on,
a-
now.
but-
like,
hype train.
you were a hustler. Yes, you
Yeah.
were a hustler. But like,
how
you
many
sell
books did he
this-
read?
Yeah.
He got lucky because he invested in Twitter. How many books
We
did
had
he
Wine
read?
Library. Wine Library.
And
was
Wine
pretty
Library.
Successful. And
But-
he
Smart.
built that too, which is, I mean, like he's a hustler.
He doesn't read. The dude doesn't read. So there's
He's
something
all
to be-
about content. Which
there's
is,
something to be said about that. No. What I'm saying is that Gary Vaynerchuk is a fucking boss, right? Grant Cardone, boss. Jay Abraham, boss. Jay Abraham started this whole marketing thing, direct mail marketing. People that started these things, Claude Hopkins, the original copywriter, the person that wrote the first sales letter, they're the real, like, beginners of everything. And all these different people have different perceptions of stuff. Like Jordan Peterson, I'm reading his book right now, The 12 Rules for Life. Great book.
Yep, you're
He's
telling me.
extremely conservative, extremely one-sided, incredibly intelligent, incredibly like can go into depths that people don't go. This is why you do things. This is why you don't do things. This is what that means whenever you do things. Because he studies it. You know, he breaks it down to like real life stuff. Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone are two great examples of salesmen. They're really good marketers.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said about that, you know?
Gary Vaynerchuk blows me away with like his whole thing. Like, I'm not selling you a system. I'm not selling you anything. But like, yes, you are.
You
You're
are.
selling your
You're selling an idea.
your podcast. Okay, you're selling your podcast, who you run ads on, and you make money. Like you're selling You're selling Vayner Media. What are you trying to do? You're trying to recruit people to work for Vayner Media.
He found
he's
a
working,
market.
like he's not sure. He's not telling you.
You know what
buy
I think
my
he's gonna-
university.
He
He's
found-
not directly telling
he
you.
found
that.
the market. That's what he
Yeah.
did.
You
He
know
said,
what I
"All
think
these
he's
other
about to
people are doing
blow up
this."
on that nobody hears about, but I hear about because I'm into sports? His sports agency. He's using social media to
Yeah, I
bust
heard that's
into that.
big.
Dude, he's like catching
part of
athletes like
VaynerMedia.
way in the college stage, whatever, super early, and just using Facebook and Instagram, mainly Instagram. That's his big winner. But he's using that to like communicate with them. Don't even know him, never even met him. But because of his influence, because of his following, they see his message, whatever, reach out to him, and he's using that to recruit them and be their sports
Dude,
agent.
that's so crazy. Oh, that's what dude, he's a genius.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a
Oh,
genius.
he's
Yeah,
a
the guy's a
genius.
genius. Yeah, the guy's a genius.
He-
Yeah.
he's a beyond genius. I didn't mean, sometimes whenever I say things, I mean to sound like
Yeah, I don't mean-
negative about it, but I'm trying to be like realistic.
Yeah.
What he does and what he does is very, very good. He's not the most well-rounded individual, but what he does is amazing.
Yeah, I don't
He's
mean to
just
knock him off his pedestal. The guy's
not,
a
not
genius.
knocking shit. The dude is
He's a genius.
We have nothing on him. Absolutely nothing.
The best thing I ever heard from him when I was a lot younger, I heard of him from a young age. He put it real simple, and it really woke me up. He said, he was like, when you realize, it was basically just the typical, when you realize that you're going to die is when you need to start turning up, in a sense. He's like, when you wake up and you realize that this isn't forever, then go hard.
Dude, he also mentions like
He's big on that too. I love
he's
that.
big on that, and he's also big on the flip side of that. He's also big on like, you're 27 years old, you have time.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have plenty of time.
See,
so
he
I
does
like
contradict
how
himself all
he
the
does
time, but in a
contradict
good
does
way.
all the time.
But I like it.
Yeah.
It's not one or the other.
It's
It's
like
like
balance. You
He has
see
like
that he's got
12-year-old
balance between the
kids that
two.
are asking him like the meaning of life and shit.
Yeah.
all the
dude.
time.
Okay, let's talk about
He
that for a
tears
second.
them up.
Please, let's talk about that for a second. The amount of information available for children now. So I have an 11-year-old brother who's like, dude, he just knows so much shit. Like he knows. Knowing and understanding are completely different, right? So like, if I know that Fruscia wears a 36 size pant, he wears 36 size pants.
Smaller
I
than
don't
that, but no, I'm kidding.
understand. I don't understand that, but I know you do. So these kids that have the phone and then they read things. Why is God real? You go to the most depth thing possible. Why is God real? Whatever. They might know what they're reading is true or false. They might know, but they won't understand. Knowing and understanding are way different.
That's a true.
So if you're giving an 11-year-old all these options to what the fuck to believe in, all of them, you believe whatever the hell you want, what's that going to do to them? It's going to completely destroy them.
Yeah,
They can't make decisions yet. You still can't make decisions whenever you're 50. Even whenever you're 50 years old. I talk to my friends that are older than me that have been successful business people for a long time. They tell me all the time, like, Cody, I still don't know what I want to do whenever I get older. I think you're 50. They
Yeah.
tell me that. I've
Yeah,
had
it's like you
multiple
never
tell me that.
decide. I know. It's like you never really decide. That is true though. It's like you don't like you don't fully understand something until you have a moment where it all clicks. And it's like you can sit there and read. All the information is available, like of everything. Just in general, like entrepreneurship, life, like what you think you might want to do to live a fulfilling life. Like what's the meaning of a fulfilling life that people have the idea of. Like you don't actually understand it until you have that moment that clicks, and that is a downfall for like young kids. Like you have so much information readily available for you, but you have to discover these things on your own.
You have to discover
You can't
them.
read
Yeah,
it.
right.
If you sit there and read everything, there's no discovering available. And it's like that's whenever you learn where your purpose is at. Like I'm sure y'all both have had that moment where like, I mean, we're all entrepreneurs. We all do real estate. We all do different things. It's like you all have that moment where you just go, aha, this is what it's like.
And
This
that's
is
an
what
expert secret.
this is what I need to do. The aha moment where you're like, I have to be an entrepreneur. I cannot work for somebody else. I have to work for myself.
A shift in your paradigm, as Jim Rohn would say.
That's
It's
Jim
just-
Rohn.
it's all the
that's
aha
in Think and
moments.
Grow Rich. That's in all of them, dude. What I think, whether this is true or false, right or wrong, I think that we're tapping into something that's way more powerful than human understanding. So when people are like, there's a whole chapter in Think and Grow Rich that you probably haven't gotten to yet. It's toward the end.
No, I'm towards the beginning.
It's sex transmutation. So he talks about in this book that like you come up with your best ideas whenever you train yourself to think during sex. Weirdest chapter in the book.
He actually said something about that in the
But like,
beginning,
what
too.
the hell? Like this whole Think and Grow Rich book is very popular, but then this is weird stuff. There's so many things that we're just scraping on, dude. Like just scraping the understanding of the isness of everything. Because like if you go talk about like kids understanding something or knowing something, so like your perception changes the older you get too, and the more experiences that you encounter. So if you've never owned, if I never owned like an apparel company, right? So I've owned one, okay?
Mhm.
You're a really damn good carpenter. Cody's a really damn good like manager of everything involved with real estate right now. People that have never done what we've done will never understand.
They
And
never have the
even whenever
aha
they turn 50, they'll still talk about it the same. Oh, it's risky. That's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's because they
You
never
shouldn't
had
do
their
it.
aha
They
moment.
never had to do it. They never had the aha moment, and they never had the understanding,
Uh-huh.
and they never experienced it. So if you take these kids, you put them in a room, and you tell them how life is. Life is fucking suffering. It sucks. It's hard. But you know what? You've got to make the best out of it. You know. But if you tell kids that, what do What are they going to think? If they
Yeah.
have no basis to go off of. Their foundation is nothing.
Yeah.
Their foundation is the limitless possibility of anything.
Yeah, this little screen right here that can give you
This
like your
little
they'll-
screen.
It's like
dude,
this little
is way
well,
more than what we think it is.
Well, it's like the little
way
screen
more.
that you think has all your answers, and like it's gonna teach you how to believe. But the problem is, you're not gonna believe something until you have your aha moment that you decide that's what you're gonna think.
Well, there's no.
You have to
believing-
decide.
There's no. That doesn't constitute the believing. The believing comes from the foundation. If there's no foundation, you don't believe in shit, right? Then confusion comes in. Then anxiety and
Well, that's
problems.
the foundation. The foundation is the want, and the foundation is that aha moment. It's like when you have that aha moment, you realize that's your purpose. Now, what do you do with that aha moment?
Well,
Do
that
you
changes though. That changes completely over time though. Like if you have your aha moment, like your one moment, like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do, like, and then you turn 35, and then
That's what I'm saying. It's like, what do you do with the aha moment? That's where the rubber meets the road. You had the aha moment. Like I said in Think and Grow Rich, or no, the aha moment, Expert Secrets.
yeah.
Everybody has the aha moments. You have tons of them throughout your life, and they're about every aspect of life. But the problem is, what do you do? Where's the rubber meet the road? When are you going to decide whenever it hits the pavement, you're going to run with it? That's whenever you have to decide in your aha moments what you're going to think and you're going to believe and what you're going to chase after. And it's like, I just feel, yeah, I mean, like phones limit that. Like the internet
completely limit it.
information totally limits it because you don't have an aha moment for yourself anymore. You have no foundation
you
to be built.
You can read it and become extremely cynical really quickly. Like, oh, this is what you want to become really cynical. Go listen to Alan Watts, who talks about nothing matters. That's his thing. Nothing matters. If you want to believe that, you can. You can believe whatever you want. That's the most interesting thing about humans. We can believe anything, even if I teach you, or you teach me, or you teach me something. However I perceive it is what I choose. So if you teach me how to build a home, right? And I say, that's nice. Somebody still has to buy it. And because they buy it, they're going to
Yeah.
go into debt and
Yep.
blah, 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 blah.
It sounds terrible.
It
yeah.
sounds awful.
There's always
but
an
then
and
there's
and
the
a
other
next
guy
and
that
yeah.
says it's a great thing.
Because
a
of-
family's going to live there. There's
Yeah.
be kids raised there. You know, there's like
Optimist.
There's the right.
Glass half
and
full,
then
glass half
it
empty.
exists. It's real. Positive and negative is real. You know, you got to talk more. I've never heard.
I know,
of
man.
Not
Dude,
talk
I'm
this
sitting
much,
here
dude.
listening. I'm like you when we met that NFL player at Golden Nugget the other day. Remember?
Yeah.
I was talking to him so much, just picking his brain, and Cody was just sitting there. And he's like, "Hey, man, you're not saying nothing. You're kind of freaking me out." He's like, "No, I'm a listener." And right now, I'm just listening. I'm over here like.
Well, me and Cody go on
I'm
these
into
rants.
it.
Like, don't let us
Oh,
go
I
on our
know,
rants,
trust
dude.
me, I know,
We'll
I'm
sit here
soaking
and
it
just.
up.
I mean, we'll sit here and just.
Trust me, me and Frank are
we get-
loving it. Don't
we get-
worry.
we
We're-
get fired
we're
up
sitting-
over here.
You didn't see me pull my phone out and make a clip.
Yeah,
I was,
yeah.
I was
John,
But
recording.
the problem is, we were just talking about this
It was
earlier, though. Like,
intense.
we were just
We
talking
just
about
talk about this shit all the time, dude.
yesterday. Like, we're annoying to people. The problem is that, like,
Oh, yeah.
we were just talking.
Oh, yeah.
The
Not a
thing
lot of
is
people
with
can
this,
speak on
you
this
have to make sure
frequency.
you don't lose people, because I know y'all can get so deep. You're not losing me, of course.
Oh, right. But
You're
then
right,
the-
right.
But
yeah, right.
you got to
can
think there's
lose-
levels.
Right, you can lose.
There
But
is,
then you can
yeah.
start talking really loud and start screaming about how to
And you
pay
get
your bills.
excited
You know,
about
then
it,
you
dude.
get like it's insane.
You can't help it. And, like, we sit there and talk about this all the time. Like, we
Oh,
literally
fuck,
cannot
fuck.
help that we're this way. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
when you're in conversations with people, you can tell that this, like, they don't like it.
Well, look,
it's
let me,
not their
let,
thing.
Let's go here. Okay, let's completely train this. So, a lot of people struggle with this. This is the biggest problem that I've seen people whenever they approach me. Very few times, but people ask me like, "How do I get started?" So, what is y'all's perception of like how do you get started? Like, what do you do?
One word: action. I speak on
Relent-
it all the time. I had a guy last week. I told you he's one of our friends. He's like, "Man, you got this book I could borrow." Blah blah blah. I told him, I said, "Look, bro, you could read all these books. You could listen to all these videos, all this self-help, this motivation, blah blah blah. If you don't start doing shit, you're not gonna get a result."
Relentless action at that. It's like,
Yeah.
I always tell everybody the first time, like, it's like Brandon Turner always says, it doesn't matter what your first deal looks like. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter any of that. It matters that you do something. You just have to do it. You're going to figure it out. And you know what? It's probably not going to be that good. It's probably going to be a crappy house, or it's going to be some crappy deal. You're not going to make any money. You're going to lose money, and that's okay. That is part of what it is. That's how you get started. How you get started is you do something. You find somebody that's taking action, and you either take action with them, or you mimic them. One of the two. And, I mean, you can decide which one is best for you. I mean, if you have somebody in your life that influences you, that is willing to take you with you, definitely I'd say go and take action with somebody who knows what they're doing first, so that you can kind of get in on a good deal and you're not going to lose money and stuff. But even if that's not your option, do something. It's that relentless action. You have to be relentless. You have to constantly Just do a deal, do a deal, do a deal, do a deal. And then whenever you're scared to do something, like you're scared to jump into like mine was the multifamily this year. I was nervous to jump into multifamily, and I did it.
Nervous is good, though.
Well, it's great, but even so, it was like almost hindering me. So it was like, dude, I'm 22. Am I really about to buy a multifamily 8-plex here? Well, I did it. Well, what do you know? My goal was to possibly buy one by the end of next year, 2020. But now I'm looking to close one before the end of the 2019, a second one. That's how this game works. That's how entrepreneurship and how starting businesses and companies works, is that you're scared to start at first, but if you do it, usually you meet and exceed your goals. Brandon Turner was just talking about it, where he was talking about his multifamily fund. He was hoping to close like 5,000 unit, or no. It was like 3,000 or 1,000 doors or something, or pads, mobile home park pads, within the first 3 years. He did it in 3 months. You know why? Because he bought his first one. And then he realized, this is not that bad. Why don't I try for 200 pads? Why don't I try for 250 pads? Okay, but there's another 250 pads over here. There's 250 pads over here. Next thing you know, he reached 1,000 in no time, in 3 months, whenever his goal was 3 years. That's how entrepreneurship works. It's that first step is just so hard, but if you just jump in, usually you just hit the ground running. And
setting another thing on that is setting high goals is very important. I was telling Cross that not too long ago. When I set my to-do list every Sunday for the week, blah, 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 I put so much shit on there, there's no way I'm getting it done. There's absolutely impossible. But I do that because if I set a small list and I got that done, I wouldn't feel good. There's always more, like we were talking about earlier. I could always get more done. So I just make unreasonable goals, unreasonable results. Yeah. Unreasonable goals equal unreasonable results. In a good way, though, in a good sense.
I'm going to say, like, to start, people that, like, need to know, right? You need to understand sales. If you have absolutely no background of like anyone that can teach you anything, right? You have no one that can show you, no mentor in the very beginning. Dude, you've got to go buy something. You got to go get a table somewhere at a festival, like at Fleet Fest or something. And you've got to start talking to people.
We did terrible, by the way.
Y'all did terrible on that one?
Yeah, but, hey, mistakes.
Well, dude,
I've learned more from mistakes than I have from...
Lessons learned.
Yeah.
Lesson learned. No failures. There's no such thing as a failure.
Exactly.
Lessons
I was going
learned.
to fall into a whole rabbit hole on that a minute ago, but continue.
There is such thing as a failure. I think that's a delusional thing. There is a failure.
Okay.
You can't fucking lose. Yeah. And whenever you fucking lose, then you learn something from it.
Yeah.
But it's still
win.
lesson learned.
It's still lesson
learned.
learned.
Thank you.
You still fucking lose, though.
But you still learn.
You don't want to lose again, so there's your
It's never just to kick me while I'm down and I'm just done. It's like, learn your lesson, come back, and just don't do it again.
You know what the problem with that is most people don't believe that. You know how you get them to believe that? Get them to get some self-confidence. How you do that? You buy something and you sell it 100 times.
And there's some people, though, some people are just born different, I feel like, man. Because some people will take that one Flea Fest, they'll lose money, and they'll say, I'm never doing it again. That's how 99% of people are, actually. They'll do it one time, oh, it didn't work, I'm done. It's just not going to work. And we took a short break there. We'll get back on that topic in just a second, but while we were paused, we were talking about we had microphones set up in here, and I said, Cody said, we have 5 microphones in here set up. And I said, not to mention all the other ones listening, like our phones and stuff. Technology, they're listening to us every moment. Everything's monitored, all that. It's all for a purpose. Anyways, I was at my brother's engagement party the other day, whatever, meeting his whole girl side of the family. Never met him before all this. I wake up that next morning, and I pull out my Facebook for the first time of the day, whatever, check my news feed, all this, check my notifications. And every friend suggestion were people at that event last night that I talked to. Listen to this, though, weirder. It was people that I talked to, not just the people that were there, the ones that I spoke to in particular.
I had the same.
Think about this, though. You know why that is? It's because of the time you're spending around them. So if me and Frank talk,
our
for
phones
10
are
minutes,
this close.
They were this close for this long.
All right, how do you explain this? Me and my fiance are walking around. We're walking around Walmart. All right, we're just grocery shopping for the week, just buying some stuff. I pull something out of the freezer. It's like what it is, the Fit Kitchen Power Bowl. It's a Fit Kitchen Power Bowl.
Kitchen Power Bowl. Shout out to Fit Kitchen Power Bowl, our sponsor.
All right, no free ads. All right, no free ads. But anyway, so it's a Fit Kitchen Power Bowl, okay? And I pull it out and I like put it in the cart or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I don't need this. I'm gonna go buy some real chicken and I'm gonna meal prep something that's like real food, not this frozen stuff. I put it back. Didn't buy it, okay? That's all we did. Didn't look it up on Google, anything like that, okay? The next day, I sent my fiance a screenshot of a sponsored ad for Fit Kitchen Power Bowls. All I did was take it out of the freezer and put it in the buggy and then put it back in the freezer. Never even bought it. I understand, like, if it tracked my credit card purchase or something like that could almost be believable. It's wild, but they would track my Capital One purchase, but, like, maybe they would.
Oh, they will.
They will. Yeah, they will. But anyways, I didn't buy it. That's the weird part, dude.
Yeah,
it's like
that's
what?
Let
intense.
me tell
The
y'all.
next
Buddy, see if you
day.
can one up
Hey,
our one up.
Let me
Come on.
one up y'all's one up.
All right, I wanna
that
hear it.
was
Okay,
intense.
please follow me on this for a
Okay.
second, okay? So, the other day I was thinking about. Damn, I don't figure out
Hold on.
what I was thinking about. But I mean, I think about a lot of shit. But, dude, I was thinking about something,
Oh, come on.
and it popped up on my fucking phone.
Dude,
I didn't Google search.
dude.
I didn't
Hold
talk
on.
to anybody about it.
The-
I thought about
Elon
it.
Musk's Neuralink is already real then.
We're in a simulation. We're all
We're-
gonna
yeah.
die.
We're all in a
We're
simulation.
already linked to AI
Dude,
then.
I'm telling you,
Our minds are already
all these conspiracy theory people for years and years and years, they were fucking right. It's
Oh,
all
yeah. Sci-fi is the new nonfiction.
Dude, it's all crazy.
Dude, it is
hey,
weird.
you know one thing
That's
about,
right, dude.
like, on a positive note, I guess, whenever Elon Musk was on Joe Rogan's podcast, I remember they were talking about really.
I just listened to that.
Dude,
The other
best
day.
one
It was
of
like
the
a
year.
year
Dude, it's
ago, but I
best.
listened to
Oh,
it.
so
like,
good.
very intelligent people are discussing very important things. And then at the very end of the podcast, this is my favorite thing. He was like, "So Elon Musk, like, what do you think is the most important thing in the world right now? Like, going forward, what do we need to do?" And he like thought about it for a second. He was like, love. It's all love." And I was like, "Dude, that's crazy."
Once you figure
Yeah.
everything out,
you realize
That's
that's
what
the
it comes
core.
down to.
That's
That's
the
what's
real
left.
core.
Yeah, that's what's
and that's what's
left.
crazy, even to entrepreneur people, because like, dude, my whole
I mean,
like,
this
dad's
guy's
side
figured out
family-
space, and he comes up
He's
with
gonna go
he's
to
figured out how
Mars.
to put us on Mars.
Do you know how hard it is
Colonize
to land
Mars.
on Mars?
Yeah.
The best way it was explained that I saw in a video, I think it was like Will Smith's production on Netflix, whatever. He was on this like special with like astronauts that had got gone to space and came back. Their explanation of it was that you shoot 2 bullets on the side of the world and they hit each other. That's how hard it is to land on a planet because everything's moving, right? So like if you were going to launch from here to land here, you have to calculate whenever you launch and then where that's going to be. It's not just like sitting out there. Everything's moving.
And it ain't moving slow.
It's not moving slow. It's moving fast. Super fast.
Fast. Super fast.
Super fast. Really
Yeah,
fast.
space freaks me out. When I want a good trip, I go sit out on my back porch, look up at that bright moon, and literally lose myself.
Oh,
Hey,
dude.
on,
Every time.
on
You're just like,
another
wow.
note.
Like we're just floating through the solar
Just
system,
floating through.
just flying through it.
hanging
really.
out, baby.
Hey,
Yeah,
man, just hanging
we're
out.
just, we're just hanging
Hey,
on.
on
Like
another
we're the
note-
only ones here.
Have y'all seen Richard Branson?
Like we're the only ones. But
Yeah,
that's all
right.
we're
We're the
doing.
only ones.
Yeah.
Bull crap.
Lewis.
You ain't the only ones.
Yeah.
Frank's their investigator.
Hey, did you hear the Virgin Group? Richard Branson is now accepting payments, reservations for his moon trips.
Really?
Well, space trips to in a Virgin Galactic.
So
Yeah,
are we taking one of your two bachelor
250
trips to
G's a
space?
ticket. 250 G's a ticket. It's like Justin Bieber.
Bachelor trip to
Um,
space.
Dude, I totally
That would
would.
be
That-
dope.
that-
One
that'd
day,
be a
We're
title for a
stupid
movie.
rich.
No, whenever
Y'all
they
wait a couple years
when
to
they
get
backed the
married.
cost down to 25 grand a ticket, I'm in.
Yeah, if the
It's
vows get
250 G's
renewed
a
in
ticket
10
right
year,
now.
10-year vow renewal,
And
then
ju-
it'll
dude,
probably
hey,
be
here's the
cheaper.
deal: the first 3 flights are booked. 250 grand a ticket. The first 3 flights are booked.
You know what
How
I would
about
do
this?
though?
How about
Who
this?
is it? Richard Branson. That's who
Richard
you're talking
Branson,
about?
yeah, Virgin
I would say
Galactic.
Richard Branson. You ride with me, and I'm going to the moon. I would not go unless he physically rode with me. So I
Here's the
knew
deal,
it
he
was
probably would, dude.
100% foolproof.
You watch stuff with him, dude. He
Oh,
probably
yeah,
would.
yeah. Dude, I
Dude,
love
that
what
dude
they're
lives a
doing
life
with
on
the
the edge,
Hyperloop.
dude.
We did a podcast. We started and released it on the Hyperloop because I want to get more deep on it. But he's took over pretty much as that project supervisor and stuff.
For which one?
Elon Musk is open sourced the Hyperloop, the solution to traffic, underground rail systems
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Dude,
That's,
oh my
his-
gosh.
I love
what's
it.
it
I
called?
love
Such
it.
a
the Boring
great
Company. The Boring
yes.
Company. Richard Branson's taking over that?
Yeah, yep.
I did not
He's
know
gonna
that.
take over that. He outsourced it. I love how Elon Musk does that though. Every idea he has, he outsources because he's like, man, I'm not jealous. I'm not. Y'all do whatever. I'm not gonna put any financial barriers on it. Y'all take the idea and do whatever y'all want.
Like Joe Rogan
Re-innovate
said.
it somehow, and y'all make it better. I'm not worried about any financial gain. None at all. Y'all just make it the best. Let's save the freaking world.
I like
That's
how-
his
I like how whenever
perspective.
you explain
He's
things-
my
And he's
favorite
made
human being
50
on earth.
Dude, Elon
billion
Musk is really
dollars
cool.
from that.
I like how whenever he whenever somebody asks him a question, He kind of like he really genuinely thinks about it. He's not listening to respond. He's not like young dudes that are.
He
just
don't like hearing himself
excited.
talk.
He's
Yeah.
just like
Well, he's trying to like
he's just that smart.
he's trying
Like,
to get away from his engineering brain.
He
to,
really
like,
is like trying to really give you an honest, good answer, and it's amazing to me because like it's not trying to like sell you anything, and that's what I liked about the book. Talking about books again to completely throw this wherever the hell it's going, but The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle is one of my favorite books because he's telling you something.
Add it to the book list.
Oh, it's on the book
It's
list.
on the
I
book
think it's on
list?
the book
Alright.
list. Yeah.
He's
Alright.
telling you something
Fair
that
enough.
wakes you up. His introduction to the book is basically saying, in his own words, not what I'm about to say, but like the way that he articulates this is very similar. So he says, whatever I'm about to tell you, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm just trying to remind you.
I've heard this.
And it's like,
iconic
dude,
intro.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And he's not trying to sell you anything. He's not trying to sell an idea. He's not trying to sell a product. He's not trying to start a movement. He's just trying to like let you know what the fuck is up, and that we're all just spiritual beings. And the only moment that ever matters is right now. That's the only moment that ever truly occurs. And it's important to set goals and plan for the future and respect what has happened before and learn from it. But the only moment that truly ever really happens is this moment. And it's crazy. Like his description of it is far beyond most people's understanding.
See, I've never read The Power of Now. I've never listened to the intro. I've never even read like the synopsis on it, so I had no idea what it was about. When I was thinking of The Power of Now, like I know now that you've told me that that's what it's about, but I always thought what it meant was the power of decision making and saying like now. Like the power of now, making your decision now and not being a procrastinator, not being a
No, dude, it's
person that
way
second guesses
deeper
every
than
decision
that.
you make, and you're somebody who has a, just has like a
Dude, it's
take
way,
care of business,
it's
make a decision.
way,
Right.
way.
I just thought that's what it was
Dude, I'm
about. But you
telling
told me something different
I'm
now.
telling you,
Yeah.
if there's a million stars in the sky, this dude grabbed one of them and put it inside of you. That's what that was. That was like something that'll never leave me. It wasn't something that I was convinced of, or like don't procrastinate, do things now, no matter what. It was like
I thought that's what it was about. But
right,
Yeah, now
and
you-
it is
yeah.
partially about that. You're definitely correct on that. But
Okay.
it's like the depth this fucking dude goes, man. Unbelievable. How simple and how unmindful it is. He's not trying to move your emotions. He's not trying to move your intellectual capability. He's not trying to move anything around. He's just telling you, not your mind, but you, and you hear it, and it's weird, and it's fucking awesome.
It's weird.
Our viewers probably think it's weird too.
It's weird.
But side note, I've had 8 people since I recorded you a couple minutes ago. Like, what's this one on? Is it finally the one? Is it finally one that y'all are gonna?
Oh,
put
it's
out
the
about?
one,
This
dude.
is
It's
the
the
one,
fucking
Yeah.
baby.
Finally.
Dude, you know what's crazy?
Frank, you're gonna have to grab a mic, dude, because I know you're just over there
Frank,
itching
here.
to pitch
You
in.
know what's crazy, dude?
No,
I
he's
could
good.
sit here.
I mean, like, just some of the stuff we're talking about. Frank's all about space and shit. Frank's into weird shit.
dude.
Frank's even more into weird shit than we are motivational shit, I feel like sometimes.
Hey,
What,
hey.
what's
Side note on the motivation, just food for thought. One of my buddies told me this a while back. He's not a big motivational speaker guy. I am. We all are.
Mm-hmm.
He told me one time, he was like, "Who motivates the motivator?" And that stuck with me for a long time. I was like, "Wow, who really does? Himself?
Well, I think,
Probably
yeah.
not."
Yeah,
I think
How
a lot
many of
of
these
it-
dudes like also
His
watch videos
consciousness.
in the
It's who
morning?
plants the motivation in
Yeah.
you. It's like, do you motivate yourself? But some things constantly plant the motivation in you, and I think that's an ongoing process. I don't think
Dude,
that's
I think
every
I think
every
it's
morning.
beyond
Nature.
comprehension.
Every morning on my
Nature.
morning jog.
Nature.
Every
Yeah.
morning on my morning
Good
jog. Yeah, nature. Every morning on my morning jog, I go out and I go in front of the lake, and I run downtown. I go right in front of the lake. Hopefully, some killer doesn't come out and freaking murder me now because he knows I jog in front of the lake every morning. Anyways,
yeah, we're gonna have a probably a fangirl.
anyways, so
Y'all are cute. Y'all are cute, so I mean.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
you're real cute.
Oh yeah, man.
Wait till we do video.
Cody's-
Oh
gosh,
my
we're
God,
gonna-
if we
we're
do
gonna
video,
blow
it's
people's
over.
See, we
socks
have
off.
to do video.
You're gonna have to shave your head.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
gonna have to shave
You're
your
gonna
head.
have to.
You're gonna have to
You
stop.
They're
have
gonna
to
think
Joe
I'm
Rogan it.
bald by my wisdom, but when they see me,
That's
they're gonna be
what's-
like, "No way, the
That'd be a
voice
good
matches
story.
the."
That'd be a
Yeah.
wonderful story. Yeah, he's bald because he was too fucking smart.
Yeah.
Anyway, so every morning on my jog, I go out and I get in front of the lake and I look at like all the homes on Lakeshore Drive, and like it's not my dream to live in Lake Charles the rest of my life or buy a house on the lake in Lake Charles. It's not my dream. My dream is to go to Lake Travis as of now. Who knows where it's going to be in 10 years when I can like actually get to do this stuff. But
We're
anyways,
cross
I go out.
proposed.
I go out in front of these
He's
things.
married, ladies. Both.
That's
Hey,
his place though. That's
I-
he got proposed there.
I
too.
propose.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, yeah. This. All right. This.
He,
this
he,
dude.
he got proposed. That's what I'm saying.
I proposed to my. Actually,
he
I
said he
proposed.
got proposed.
So I
Right,
proposed to
right,
my
right.
fiance on the top corner on the on like the south side of the Oasis. He proposed to his fiance on the north side of the Oasis. So we're
So
on
I need to
opposite
do that.
sides
I
of the
need
same
to-
place.
You should do that.
I need to do the east side.
No, you got to go right in the middle, slap middle,
Yeah,
dude.
slap
You
middle.
need to just jump off the cliff. Take a
I'm
Yeah,
big
it's like,
one.
I don't know, like
myself, dude.
350,
Hey,
I'm
400
that is
feet.
the most beautiful place in Austin, Texas. Is on that
See,
cliff.
y'all
Oh,
are
it's the
gonna
most
kill
beautiful
me
place
for
in the
this.
world.
Y'all are gonna kill me for this, and we're probably gonna go as soon as the show's over. I've
You
never
gay?
been to Austin.
Yeah.
No, not gay.
You want to go to my bachelor party next, like 2 weeks
You've
from
never
now?
been to
Yeah, come
Austin?
on.
No.
I'll go. So
Bro.
I'm dead serious. You're coming,
Dude,
dude.
yeah,
you
I
gotta
have
go.
spots.
You gotta
No.
come.
I'm down.
You gotta
You're
come.
going?
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
I'm
coming.
down.
It's
Frank's-
August. No,
Frank's
it's Labor Day
coming.
weekend. You're coming.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Oh yeah.
It's
Well,
a
there we
wrap.
go.
Dude,
We'll do a podcast
We have another
live
plus-
from Austin.
Yes.
let's do it.
Dude,
Hey, let's
dude,
video.
live
Let's
from the
put it up-
Oasis.
put it on the
Live
Oasis.
from the
Let's talk to
Oasis.
the owner and we'll get it
Oh
all set
my
up.
god, dude.
Let's do it.
Anyways, back to what I was saying. That motivation every morning. I say my affirmations out there while I look at the homes on Lakeshore Drive, and those
scream
are some
them to
incredible.
yourself, or
Dude,
you just, like,
I
monitor 'em?
just told my fiance the other day. It probably, like, some people probably hear me and they probably think I'm some lunatic out there speaking to the earth. Like, I declare these things in the air. But, like, I look at it and it's like, that's my motivation. I renew
Wait, do
my
you, like,
motivation.
scream? I want to
every
know. I
day.
gotta know. Do you scream these things?
No, I
to
don't
the- to
scream.
the
I just,
mic?
no, I don't
Dude,
scream.
listen
I
to
speak
this.
them loudly
Side note.
enough where God hears them. I'm
Okay.
annoying him. I want to annoy God with what I proclaim to the
That's
universe.
interesting.
This
So
is
that
funny.
I
Frank can
get it.
vouch for this real quick. So when I'm like getting in a zone, like I'm about to kill something, not like literally, but mentally,
something.
like kill a task, whatever. I'll get out of the shower and he'll be in the office, which is connected to the shower at my house, and he'll hear me just like scream at myself in the mirror. Ah! Every day, dude. Every day I do it. Before I came here, I did it. Made sure that I was mentally prepared. Just let's go. I love it, dude. I
Frank's
love
laughing
doing
Dude, I'm
like,
the
yeah, he
same
really
way,
does
dude.
that.
that.
I do it, man. I love
Dude.
it, and that's what made me think of that. It's awesome.
That's so
Dude, I'm
funny.
the same way.
I got to get the
Every-
affirmations down in the miracle morning for
Well,
real.
dude,
if
you
I
really-
can quit going to bed at freaking 3, 4 a.m. and getting
Yeah.
up at 8 a.m.,
Well, it's
I'm
not
gonna
even.
try it.
Well, it's not even about that, dude. Just go to bed at 2 and wake up at 7. It's 1 hour. I didn't even
But
finish. I didn't
like
finish what
Elon
my morning
Musk
was.
said-
I didn't even finish what my morning was. This is as
Yep.
simple as it is. 30 minute. I take a 30-minute jog.
Oh, I'm crushing.
I take a 30-minute jog in the morning. I go all around downtown. And the thing is, I take a different route every morning. I think that's important. I take a different route every morning. Nasty. I take a different route every morning. I take a 30-minute jog, and I say my affirmations about mid-jog. Somehow or another, I always get to the lakefront. I get back to my house. I do 10 minutes of – that's nasty. I do 10 minutes of reading of a book. I'm always listening to an audiobook while I'm on my jog, and I'm always reading a hard copy of a different book. So I'm always reading 2 books at once. And I read for 10 minutes, and then I do 10 minutes of like meditation and prayer, and then I eat breakfast for 10 minutes, and then my day starts. But it's
We were gonna get back to that eventually.
1 hour, 1 hour, dude.
I found meditation pretty peaceful. I have a house on the lake in Westlake, so walk out of my bedroom, back porch, boom. You'll see on my Snapchat all the time.
I was saying
Every morning I'll wake
right?
up.
Cody pointed your house out to me before.
Yeah, it's nothing special, but it's a start.
It's freaking on the water though.
Yeah,
Is it your house?
girls love it. No,
Still
no, it's
freaking
not.
sweet though.
Yeah, I have 7 houses, but not one of mine. Weird. I don't know why I'm like that. You know why I'm like that? Weird. I don't want to confine myself to something.
Dude,
you
I
know?
told Shannon that the other day.
I don't want to like.
She was
set,
like-
it's not setting a limit, but like somebody be like,
No.
"Oh, Hunter, why don't you buy a freaking $300,000 house?"
Well,
Something
dude,
like
think
that.
about it. Think
Because I
about
don't
it.
want to get stuck in that $300,000 house mindset.
Please hear
That's
my
why.
analogy.
Well, then
Let me
you're
hear my
just
analogy.
stuck,
My
dude.
analogy
I know,
is
not stuck. I'm never gonna get stuck, but I
if
just
you
I
live
don't know,
in a
weird.
nice place, like a nice house, like a home that you're proud of, right?
Let's
And
hear your
there's
analogy.
definitely a time and place for that. And it's subjective. You choose whenever that is for you.
Right.
For me, I'd rather live in a tent because you know what? You don't spend a whole lot of time in a tent. You're out in the marketplace. You're out doing
Mhm.
stuff. You don't want to go relax in a
Damn,
tent.
that's a good analogy.
That's
You
a
know- you know what I mean?
wow, dude. That's a good
Dude, that's
analogy.
what
I
it
was not
is.
expecting
God,
that.
You're gonna
dang,
get too
dude,
comfortable.
that was
good.
You're gonna get complacent.
That was
and
a
that's
nugget.
fine.
That was a nugget.
That's the way I think about it, though. It's like Shannon's like, because we all have money to afford whatever the hell we want to buy, but it's like not necessarily, but enough to buy a house, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, why would I do that whenever I can live how I'm living? And it's not a tent, you know. It's a decent place, but it's not somewhere I want to settle. I don't want
Yeah.
to settle there.
Right.
That's
It's
not
not
that's
somewhere
not
you
my
want to
ending
spend your
point.
day.
Not
even.
at all. I want to.
I mean, I do, but
get out and go do
I just
stuff.
bought my first house. I bought it on a commercial loan under my LLC with an intent to make it my office in 5 years. So that's literally like, it was my mindset. Like I didn't buy
Is
it
it
to spend.
multifamily or it's?
No, it's single family, but it was an old title company. I bought an old title company. The house, not the company.
I figured
I bought the
someone
house. I bought-
as if yourself would use your FHA wisely and buy like a fourplex.
Well, that
Get
was
5% down.
check this out. And I don't do that 5% down, dude. 20% down. Put your money on the line.
Put
Make
your
some
money where
money.
your mouth is.
That's how I say. Put your money where your mouth is. But anyways, I bought this thing. I bought it. It appraised at $230 whenever I bought it. Bought it for $160. But it's got an extra lot in the back zone to build multifamily. That's why I bought it, because I had that extra lot in downtown where nobody has that.
Where is this at? I'm very familiar with it.
Downtown.
It's on
I don't
Clarence.
know that I want to. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
really know that I
true.
want to say that on the
Yeah.
podcast where I live.
Yeah, that's a long street though. I mean, it's downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
downtown.
We'll talk
downtown.
after the show.
It's an old title company. But anyways, yeah. So I bought it. I mean, I'm rehabbing.
Hodges Street.
I'm rehabbing it. I'm flipping
He's
it.
like, shut up.
So I was not even realizing.
No, it's not the address.
Is it
I'm-
on Rogers Street?
No, it's not on Hodges.
Okay, yeah. I'm working on Hodges Street. And my last house was on Hodges Street.
I,
And a house I flipped was on Hodges. I have a lot of relevance to Hodges Street. Weird you
How about
mentioned
that?
that.
We're right by
Yeah.
Hodges.
Shane lived on Hodges Street for a while.
So yeah, we bought it. We're rehabbing it right now. We're remodeling. It's gonna be all farmhousey, white and black. It's gonna be freaking sweet. But it's like the idea was, the intent was that it's gonna be my office in 5 years, and I'm either gonna build another office complex behind it, duplex, fourplex. I really don't know. Maybe build a big shop and hold all my building materials, because I'm just stacking up that stuff left and right. We'll see where it goes. But I bought it with investment strategy. That is my idea for like any home that I live in my entire life. I'm going to buy it as an investment strategy. I'm never just going to, unless I get to a point where I really just want to build my personal dream home and like I want it very specific, but I'm not like that. I want the money on the top end. So that's like my intent.
That's still a tent though. You know,
It's
that's
still a tent, right?
considered
It's a form of a tent, right?
Right.
Because you're buying it as an investment. You're buying it with the
Yeah.
intent to make money. You're not buying it with the
the
intent to build.
to live in a tent.
It's like you're not buying it with the intent to make it your family home and live there and grow old with dogs and kids and all that stuff. You're not buying it with that intent. You're buying it with the intent to have over $100,000 in equity in it, to see where that can take you in 5 years. Can you sell it? Can you refinance it? It's like you're constantly moving. You're constantly like, okay, I need to move out of this thing because I simply need
You
the
have tons
cash.
of
And I need the
exit
income.
strategies.
Exit strategies. You've always got to have exit strategies. That's like, me and Cody always talk about it. That's like the first thing you look at as an exit strategy. Whether it's you want to start a legacy company, you want to eventually just build and sell. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter how small the project may be. You always have to have an exit strategy.
And it's one of the first thing an investor wants to know too.
Oh,
Yeah.
of
Well,
course.
what if
Of
this
course.
flip doesn't go well? What are you gonna do?
Hey,
Is there
I mean,
a way
you
for you
wanna
to
know.
refinance and pull my money out of the deal?
You want to know, like, what is the goal, right? If it's a 5-year, 10, 20, 50, whatever. At the end of this deal, what happens? Does it just go away? Does it just dissipate? Or do you sell it? Or do you find a buyer while you're scaling the business? Or what multiple do you sell on? Or blah, 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 blah. You just try to figure that out. That's where you want to start. What do you want to do with this? Where do you want to go? And how can you scale it, you know?
I hate to get to this point. Like, I don't know if you want to talk about this on this podcast, kind of reveal your like strategies, but like, what are you doing to find capital? Because like, I don't know how are you funding your deals? Because me, I'm traditional finance, dude. I'm going to the bank. I mean, 20% down, dude. I'm just putting my money down and going for it with these multifamily and like all my single family and stuff. I mean, I'm using line of credit and things like that on paid off assets, but at the same time, like, are you on private money?
Well, I'm fortunate in this sense. I started all this 3 years ago now. It's been when I was in college. Waste of my life, college.
Truth.
We'll talk about that later. on a
Yeah,
different
that's another
episode.
podcast.
But I was working for $10 an hour, cheap as shit, broke as a joke, back against the wall. I always talk about that when my back's against the wall, I always come out the strongest. And I was looking for a job. I worked at Sears. I was a back-end loader, like loading shit on trucks, like appliances and stuff. And it was so weird. I got 2 calls for a job the same exact day after going months and months of waiting. I got 2 calls the same day, both real estate investors. Tim Vaughn, who owns Downtown Properties, all that shit, Luna Live, all those buildings down there, taught me a lot of what I know, see him all the time. Great time. And then Gene Kuntz, older man, 76 years old, owns Insurance World, all that stuff, has like 60 houses, whatever. So I found these 2 guys, worked for them, cheap labor, blah, 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 blah. We'll skip to the capital part. But after a while of working for cheap labor, I told them, I was like, man, I know I'm just a student of the game, student of life, everything, but I want to get in on these deals. Like, I know y'all have money, and that's when Tim broke away. It separated Gene from Tim quickly. Tim already had big established money. He wasn't worried about no single family, no small game, long game, whatever. So I moved over to Gene, and I was like, well, let's do something. Let's buy deals, whatever. So he's been a big source of capital, and now it's just personal money. It's just us. We haven't borrowed shit. Here's how it started on that side. So fast forward to 2017, still in college, still broke, whatever, but I've always had the mindset. So I'm living next door, and I see the house next door to mine on Hodges Street here downtown Lake Charles, and I talked to my neighbor. We built a good relationship, and he was a jack of all trades. He was a truck driver, but he's one of those guys that are good at everything, like auto body stuff, and I know he's going to listen to this, so shout out to Matt, my guy. But I said, man, we should flip your house. And I was like, how much you get this house for? Garden District downtown, nice little property. He's like, man, I bought it for 50-something thousand. I was like, damn, it's worth probably, we ran some numbers, probably like 130 is what we figured. In game, we ended up selling it for 152. We set the price per square foot record for the Garden District at that time. Big accomplishment there. But every day after I got out of class, got off of work from working with Gene and Tim, learning the game, I would help Matt and we'd do that. And we made so much off that deal, we just parlayed it into that freaking $8,500 house, aside from all the stuff property management-wise I was doing with Gene, and really blessed with Gene to get 15% of everything he does now.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Dang, that's a really good
property
guy.
management, so he has 50-something houses, 7 with me, 7 since I've
So you're
joined
managing
him.
those 7 or all 50?
No, 7.
Okay, still though.
Basically manage all 50 for free, but
Yeah.
he tells me this every day. I'll take this to heart, and I'll never forget it. He told me, he said, I don't know why I pay you. And you know what my response was? I don't know why you do either. I just love that you do. I'm glad that you put food on the table.
It helps,
but yeah, I would do it for free. I tell him that all the time. I'd do it for free in a heartbeat. I really would.
That's cool, man.
All the stuff he's taught me, man, I owe a lot to him. And I feel bad now that the construction stuff taken off, and I've kind of drifted away from him a little bit here recently, but I always go back to him.
Yeah.
I always fly back to the nest. Fly
That's
back
cool,
home.
man. Yeah, and I'm like, I'm the total opposite. Like, I'm always cash poor using the bank. Always. And I mean, I never use my own money. I mean, line of credit's technically my own money because it's the asset of my house. But at the same time, I mean, the bank keeps it in a fund. Like, I'm constantly working with the bank. So it's like totally different.
See, that's my next move. See, I've only been doing this 2 years.
Yeah, dude, you're killing it for 2 years, dude. I've been doing this since I bought my first single family at 16 years old, and I'm 22, so I've been doing it for 6 years.
And you were what, born into this or not born in, but like your family was like,
yeah, my dad's
taught you the ropes good.
My dad's got about 100 rentals. My dad's got 100 rentals. He's got about 50 single family, 50 apartments. It's split almost evenly. He's got like 92. I rounded up because that's not counting our personal stuff. We have a few personal too, but he's got about 92 rentals. He splits it up about evenly. My dad's never had a boss. He actually cut grass. Worked for he cut grass right out of college. I mean, while he's in college to support him and my mom. They're married, young, married, cut grass, hustled.
Sounds like what I want my life story to be like when it's all said and done.
I was about to say, ended up getting his real estate license and started being a real estate salesman. Worked for a brokerage here in town with Yeah, I'm not doing any names. It's worked for a brokerage here in town with some other people that are established in this world to date. But anyways, he made $600 in a whole year. He sold his grass company to sell real estate full time. Made $600 in a year. Couldn't keep food on the table. My mom was like a bank teller, so and they just were barely making it. And all the while he was trying to sell real estate, and he just wasn't good at it. He wasn't a salesman. He saw the owner of the brokerage was buying real estate, buying single family apartments and burring. He was doing buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. So he basically looked at the broker and was like, I'm going to do what he does. And my dad is honestly one of the best fixer-upper people I've ever met in my life. He's not a perfectionist, but he is the master of getting a property rent-ready. Rent-ready is not perfect, bottom line, and he's the master at it. I've never seen anybody better at it in my life. He's incredible at it. So basically what he did over time, he went back to cutting grass, quit selling real estate, he went back to cutting grass, grinded for 2 years, never bought a property. Cut grass, and he would go out and he would tell himself every day, he would say, I'm going out and I'm not coming back home until I get 15 new accounts. I'm not coming back home until and he said sometimes he'd get home at 9 o'clock at night, did 9, 10 o'clock at night because that's what it took him to get 15 new accounts. Ended up getting with some brokerages in town and started cutting their properties, mowing their properties and mowing like the broker owners' properties, and saved up enough money and bought his first single family, flipped it. And then he went and bought his first rental, refinanced it, and bought his second rental. And he did all the work himself. And now he's accumulated. I mean, he's got a 48-unit apartment complex, 12-unit apartment complex, and the rest is made up of single family, just all around. So I mean, he's been a real hustler.
What I got out of that is your dad gave you the mindset of real estate broker, successful, led you down the right path, but the work ethic of the guy that cut the yards.
My dad's never given me money. He's never given me handouts. My dad has only given me advice. He made me find my own deals. He's never helped me find a deal. He might have helped me negotiate a few where like I didn't know. You know, I mean, obviously as an 18-year-old kid, you're only going to know so much.
He's not going to let you do
right.
wrong.
He's not going to go let me do something wrong, but he's going to go there. We would go to the properties and he'd say, "What do you see?" And okay, well, how much do you think that's going to cost to fix? How much do you think this is going to cost to fix? And overall, we would come up with this budget where we thought what it was going to take to fix. And I mean, a lot of times I was off. I mean, I was 18. I hadn't been doing this for 30 years like he had been at this point. So he would help me. And the only thing, but what I always tell, what me and my brother always talk about, and he always tells us, is that he's never given us the hustle. He's never given us the willpower to bring our minds to this point. I mean, we're where he was 10 years into the business, and we've been doing it for my brother too. He's got I think 11 single family, and he's 24. I mean, I'm 22. I've got 14 units now. We're where he was 10 years into it, and we've only been
technological advancements too.
Right, and we've only been doing it for 2 years, 3 years. I mean, he's been doing it. I mean, brother's been doing it 4 years. I've been doing it 2, really full time.
I always tell Gene, he's 76 years old, and he don't know how to work the internet. When I came in, I saved his life. Like, it was crazy in a sense. But he tells me, he's like, we do a lot of tax sale properties. I've told Cody a lot about it. Tax liens, we buy liens, wait 3 years, redemptive period, redeem the property, blah, 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 all that. I told him, he's like, back in the day, we used to have to go physically get the newspaper from wherever we're going to the sale. We'd have to go out there physically with a map, east half of the west half of the north quarter, whatever, and map out the space and all that to see what the lot looked like. And now we have all this GIS mapping systems and all that. So I'm so thankful for the technological advancements, man.
It makes investing so much easier. Like, this is a whole new world. Like, me and my dad always talk about it. Like, he's so old school. He's just so out of it. And I manage a lot of his too now, because he just couldn't get on the online payment, online leasing. He couldn't get on that. And I do. And he's gotten to a point of life where he wants to slow down and wants to stop doing all that stuff. So I manage a lot of his stuff. And yeah, it's just, I mean, the real estate investing world, it's like, it has now enabled a 22-year-old to invest in real estate at the degree that a 35-year-old does and a 40-year-old does, because it has become business has become that technologically advanced to where you can do business for so much less money, and you can attain more money for so much less money and less effort, that somebody our age is able to do this. And that's why everybody says, like, oh, I'm too young, I got no money, all this stuff. It's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. Like, dude, there is so much, if you just dive into it, that nobody even knows exists. And it's like, it takes nothing. You can be a real estate investor with 2 hours a day. And you can be a dang good one. You can invest in a lot of stuff with 2 hours a day. If you put that 2 hours of intent in and you do the right things, you can do it at 22 years old. Dude, there's private money. All you got to do to go get a hard money loan, dude, all you have to do is find a deal, put a budget report together, or pro forma, send it off. They look at it. And if it's a good deal, if you analyze enough deals to know what a good deal is, they'll loan you the money. They don't look at age. They don't look at credit. They look at the deal. It's like, dude, it's not that hard to do.
What are you getting hard money at, or do you often do hard money?
I don't even do hard money
points. Yeah. See, we talked
I
want
to, but it's something I have to work into.
Usually our deals are so cheap that it's like, man, just pay the cash. Fork up the cash.
I mean, hard money is probably the easiest financing to get.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to pay a point a month. So you're going to be paying 12% or 6% or whatever you borrow on the money.
And it's meant to be short
term. The problem with people getting started, the problem why people can't, is because people don't know that they're like their potential. They don't understand it. They've never seen themselves come to fruition. They don't have a direct mentor to show them how to do it. And I would definitely recommend with people that want to get started, that want to understand, that want to know what they're capable of doing, is definitely coming from, dude, you got to go sell shit. You've got to go sell stuff. You know why your dad was able to do it? Say he went 2 years out and doing nothing, right?
Yeah, but he spent every day gaining new accounts.
Yeah, right.
Selling.
He's selling.
Yeah, he was selling.
He built up his own self-confidence.
Right.
And then he flipped his own property, right? So he flipped it. He got the check. And he deposited it. It's like it's real now, right? It's not just this idea; it's a real thing, and that's the difference. People hear this type of shit, and what's really interesting to me, for me, you, Frusha, everyone, we enjoy being motivated. We enjoy people telling us you can do this. We enjoy that kind of stuff. The problem with most people's hang-up is that they like hearing it. They love hearing it, but they never do anything towards it because it's way too hard. Way too hard to do that. So your wants have to be so big. Your goals have to be kind of big. Your understanding of what you're actually doing has to be kind of big. And you don't know that until you're buying and selling something, whether it be an idea, whether it be a product, or whether it be information, whatever you're selling. People have to understand what that is. So if you go do a deal, for you to read about a deal, hey, it's this simple, do this, this, this. Yeah, sure, it's simple, but that fucking person's depressed and anxious all the time. So like, there's that angle that nobody ever talks about, but it's real. How do you get out of that? How do you understand that it's not $10 an hour? How do you understand that you should hire someone for $10 an hour? How do you understand that? You do it. How do you start? You sell something over and over and over again. And if you don't, if that's not how you got started, then there's something to be said about the understanding. You kind of like you were able to bypass that. But if you don't have any kind of platform, direction, nothing, you gotta sell stuff. Just anything. Over and over and over. Then you start to realize, like, oh my God, I can actually do things. And then this is definitely divine, but the universe rewards you. If you take massive action, which is what we're talking about, if you take action and you do something,
luck and hard work are correlation.
Dude, it's correlation.
Absolutely, yeah. With
You
hard
get
work
lucky-
and positivity
you get lucky
comes luck.
directly correlated to
Yeah.
how much work you put in.
And
not even like hard
positivity
work.
and positivity.
Positivity too.
Everybody, like, you can't if you're negative, dude, negativeness is gonna come your way if you're negative. Like, dude, you're not gonna have anything good
You've also
happen
got to talk
you.
about why. Why are people negative, right? Because life is suffering. Life is hard. If you don't start before you're 25 years old with any kind of an idea of what you want to do, it's going to be very hard for you because you're going to see what's around you and you're going to succumb to it. You're going to just do that because it's normal and your friends are doing it. Like, you've got to...
Our normal's just a different normal.
It's
totally different normal, dude.
Someone
It's
told me the
totally
other day,
different.
they were like, I post a lot of, I don't post necessarily a lot of numbers, but I do. I'll be like, man, we fucking $4,100 job. It's got to take us 3 days. Good job, whatever. And they're like, must be nice. I'm like, yeah, it must be nice sleeping in every day.
Yeah.
It must be nice getting to play video games and not going to grind. But really, it's not. It's not nice. It's not what I want to do. Mm-hmm. It's just a whole different mindset for people like us.
It's a game to me, dude. I'm to the point in my life where, like, and I'm only 22 with no wisdom. So this is like very coming from a place of like not even fully understanding this, but like understanding what I want right now, and it's just experience. I want to experience things. I don't care about money. I mean, I do, but like I don't care about showing that I have money. I mean, you mentioned earlier, I don't really talk about like the deals that I make and the money I make. I talk about the progress and the how-to or whatever it is that somebody asks me.
You're a giver.
I'm a giver, and
For
like
sure.
if it's asked, you know, a lot of people are just way too forward and arrogant with it. But it's like, and that's a personality thing too. You know, it's just like whatever you want to do. But
Yeah.
Don't get you on ego.
don't do.
We'll
the
save
ego
that
thing.
for a whole nother
Just-
episode.
That's a whole other thing. But like, it's so far beyond just simple compensation. Like, it's far beyond that. It's far beyond just being paid for something. It's far beyond being a good investor. Like, all of these things that the world has to offer, if you're a good person, you do good things long enough, you yourself, no matter how much money you make and how you make it, your dad is a great example of that. Cody's dad is the most genuine, like, hardworking, takes what he gets type person, and you can feel that whenever you're around him. He doesn't have to look over his shoulder. He doesn't watch what he says. He just is himself. And that's like, that has come with years and years and years of knowing who he is. And a lot of people's problem to get started and to understand this, lose as fast as you can.
And with that being said, we'll end it
That's
there.
it.
I like another good note. I like to be told that I can't better than I like to be told that I can.
Oh yeah.
Dude, you
It's a
gotta
driver.
lose.
It's a driver.
You've got to lose. You've got to lose because if you have the perception,
Lose
right?
fast.
If you have the perception,
Yeah, lose
that
fast.
If I'm gonna go
lose
sell
fast
this,
and recover losses quickly.
we'll cut it on this for sure. If you want to learn, if you want to know, if you want to understand, You need to understand that what the fuck you think you can do is wrong. What you think you can't do is wrong. You have to go do, then you're gonna know. Cut it on that.
Wise advice.
That was good.
All right, guys, we'll wrap it up there for the first episode out of the Bat Cave. We got me, your host, Hunter Fruge, and our other two lovely hosts, Cross and Caswell. We'll see y'all next week, live from the Bat Cave.